Guys, so for today's video we're going to be teaching you guys how to do a 180 tail whip. So a 180 tail whip consists of two tricks, a 180 and a tail whip, and combined it equals a very good looking trick that you can throw in basic routines off of ledges, off of curbs, over stuff, and flat. So if you didn't know what a tail whip looked like, tail whip's going to be this trick right here. If you're going to be learning this trick, I would suggest looking at my previous video on how to do an off-axis throw, and you can relate that to pretty much any trick that you're going to do with the tail whip. And when you hop up, make sure you throw it down, catch your tail whip, and make sure you practice this trick before you end up doing the 180 tail whip. The second trick that you'll need to know how to do is a 180, and a 180 is going to look like, well, it's a basic, just you're going to be riding and you're going to be doing a 180-degree spin, landing backwards, and you're going to proceed to do like a cab out or a trick out. So my advice for doing this trick is to really practice on doing tail whips. Practice learning how to land tail whips clean, and most of all, make sure you know how to catch a tail whip in the air before you land. Because if you add the 180 and you're doing a tail whip and you don't catch it before you land, it will not work, and it's going to be extremely hard for you to do, and it's going to take you a little bit longer to learn a 180 tail whip. The trick's broken up, a tail whip and a 180. I'm going to show you guys right now what a 180 looks like. And I'm going to show you guys what a tail whip looks like. So when learning how to combine a 180 and a tail whip at the same time, just make sure you always tell yourself before you do the trick to practice catching your whip before you land in a 180, because if you do it off of a ledge and you land just a little bit off, your weight's going to be going backwards where it wants to go, and your scooter's not going to be aligned, and you're just going to pretty much fall off your scooter. So just make sure when you're learning this trick, make sure you get your whips dialed, learn how to catch them in air before you move on to combining it and doing a 180 tail whip. So for your basic body position for this trick, you're just going to be, for my foot position, I like to put my foot, just basic position for when I'm just riding, cruising, and when you do the flick for the whip to go around, I mostly, if you look at how I'm throwing the tail whip, I am mostly just using my front foot and then I'm catching it with my back foot. And when I get aligned and I'm going into a fakie, before I land into the fakie, I put my foot back on the deck and I catch it. So I would recommend you guys looking at the clips that I posted of me actually doing the 180 and look at how my foot position is set up and look at what foot I'm throwing with and I'm catching with. Because if you can correlate which foot you're going to throw with what foot you're going to catch with, it's going to just make it a lot easier for you guys to learn, and it won't make it as hard to do. So some tips for when you add the tail whip into the 180 is one of my most valuable tips is when you do the 180, okay, so think of it as like a circle. So here's a circle, and this is 180. This is, by this time, your tail whip should already be caught in the air, and you should already be preparing yourself to land in a fakie and to either throw a trick out or to just land in fakie, roll for a little bit, and do a half cab out. So around 25% of the graph, I think it's 25%, I don't really know. I'm pretty sure it's like 25, 50, that's 100, and then there's... You get the point. I'm just trying to help you guys. Don't quote me on anything, and don't tell your math teachers that I'm teaching you guys improper fractions or improper graphing. But let's get to scootering then, basics of scootering. So when you add the tail whip to the 180, you're gonna want to throw it just about like half of a body turn. So from here to here, you're gonna want to be throwing your tail whip, and then from this half, you're gonna want to be landing with the tail whip caught on your feet and you're going to want to be in a fakie already by the time you hit this position. So for me, when I think about this trick, I'm just going to be cruising. I wouldn't go too fast when you're starting off learning this trick. Don't go too fast, don't go too slow, because if you just go too slow, it won't really work out and you might not get the fakie right, and you might just stop and kind of mosey on out, and you don't want that. You want your trick to look clean, and if you just listen to the tips I've been telling you, and in the other video, the off-axis kind of throw, it will help you in this video too, and that's why I wanted to make that video, so I can just better explain like the dynamics of throwing tail whip tricks in your day-to-day like combos. If you're gonna go out and learn this trick and you're gonna be practicing it, I have like a couple things that you should really focus on when you're doing this trick. And that would the first one, make sure when you're doing this trick to learn how to tail whip and learn how to catch it first, because if you don't know how to tail whip and you don't know how to catch it before you land, it's going to be extremely hard for you to add a 180 into that trick, and it's just going to kind of confuse you, and it might make you frustrated because you're not landing the trick when you should just go back, not relearn, but just go back and kind of make some minor adjustments to your tail whips and learn how to catch it before you move on. The second tip, when you're throwing the tail whip, really make sure when you get half of a body turn, your tail whip is already being thrown, because if it's not already being thrown and you go into 180 and then throw it, it kind of just doesn't look good, and it's not going to be as clean. It's just going to be really hard to do. Not saying it can't be done, but if you're going to be doing it, just make sure your whip is on point. It all goes back to your tail whip. If your tail whip isn't solid and it is not caught on your feet and you're not holding on to it, it's not going to work out, and you might fall when you're going back in a fakie. The third tip, just break it down into tricks, and really it goes back to the little graph and stuff. Break it down into step by step, and like when you go out and you go to your local skate park and you're practicing this trick, really focus on just breaking it down and take it step by step. Don't rush the trick. When you rush, you forget stuff, and then you get mad, and then you don't land the trick, and it's just a mess. So really make sure for like the third step or the fourth, I think, just really break it step by step, and tell yourself when you get half of a body turn, to make sure that whip is thrown and it is getting ready to be caught and proceeded in the 180. And another tip to really focus on too, when you're in your fakie, I didn't really talk about this, but I'm gonna talk about it now. So the last thing you should really learn too is when you land your tail whip. So you're gonna be going in half a body turn, and when you catch it, you're landing you just make sure when you're land in a full turn, which is a 180. Make sure you land in a perfect 180, and you brace yourself, and your feet should be in the same position that it was when you threw the tail whip. So once you throw it, you catch with your foot, put your foot on, and when you land in your fakie, just make sure to just be comfortable and really practice your fakies, because when you add the tail whip to it and you're doing a 180 tail whip, when you're going backwards, it is a lot to think about, and it's not the hardest trick to do. It's really not. I do a lot of hard tricks, but I will get caught up on 180 tail whips sometimes, only because I'm not catching it right and I'm landing weird. If you guys can just make sure when you go out and learn this trick, make sure you learn how to catch a tail whip pristine, and I'm talking pristine. Make sure when you do your tail whip, just catch it before you land. Practice that every day, and make sure your 180s are actually 180s, not like 90s and then like a hop after, and it just doesn't. It won't really fit in with when you combine the tricks. Just make sure when you go out and you practice this trick to land in an actual 180. And make sure you land your tail whip before you hit the ground. So guys, that really wraps it up for today's video. Make sure you guys like the video. Tell me what trick I should kind of break down and explain next. And another thing, I don't really, if you've watched the full whip tutorial, these videos aren't really much tutorials. Well, they are tutorials, but I'm trying to get it to where it's not really much of a tutorial. Well, I want to get it to the point where it is a tutorial, but it's more like really helpful tips, because I watch a lot of other people's videos, and when I see their tutorials, it's literally, I've watched some where they tell you, like, they teach you how to tail whip. They'll literally tell you to throw it, catch it and stuff, and then instantly after that, it's like a 2-minute video, and it shows them doing the trick, and they're like, all right guys, so I hope you learned a lot from this, and they didn't even explain anything. So I'm just trying to make these videos a little bit different and actually explain the tricks thoroughly and help you guys. I'm trying to help you guys learn these tricks fast and stuff, because if you didn't know and you don't watch my my Instagram videos, if you go back to some early not YouTube videos, Instagram videos, if you go to some early Instagram videos, you will notice that I have a lot of tricks, and I'm not trying to be cocky about this, but I do have a lot of tricks in my bag, and I have a lot of combinations, and I'm trying to teach you guys the stuff that no one is telling other people. And I feel like other people, their videos aren't thorough. They're not really teaching you guys the tips that you guys need to know. So I'm just trying to be a little bit different with my videos, and if you like what I'm doing and stuff, make sure you like the video, comment below what you want to see next for the next video. Tomorrow I'm going to be uploading another video. Hopefully I'm going to update this one tonight and upload it. And tomorrow we're going to be back at it again with another tutorial. So go down below, comment, like this video, and tell me what you want to see next, guys. Peace.